All right. This is a RADPOD breaking news special on the eve of the arraignment in New York for Donald Trump. We have some breaking news out of Tallahassee, and that is why we are going live. Democratic leaders were arrested at the state capitol. We have with us State Rep Eskamani. She's actually live from the jail where the leaders are being held. Anna, you were there today. Can you please tell us what happened?
Yeah, for sure. So we were in the state capitol, and organizers with Occupy Tallahassee were basically staging a sit-in response to an extreme 6-week abortion ban being fast-tracked through the Florida Republican legislature. Today, the bill passed the Florida Senate. It's going to come to the House probably in about a week and a half. And so activists were basically staging this effort to raise awareness and to express their First Amendment rights. And the mayor of Tallahassee basically put a curfew to prevent them from doing that. And about 13 individuals accepted arrest. They were deemed as protesting, despite the fact that they were simply just holding hands and singing, while about 30 law enforcement officers came at around 8 o'clock and arrested each one of those individuals, including the chairwoman of the Florida Democratic Party, Nikki and our minority leader in the Florida Senate, Lauren Book, alongside other local and regional activists.
I think it's very important to point out that this was, and I know you said it already, but I want to reiterate it, this was a peaceful protest. So in what world in America are peaceful protesters arrested? This sounds, I'm sorry, but there's no other word that I can think of other than very fascist. What can you tell people? We have a global audience. What can you tell them about what just happened? This was a peaceful protest.
Incredibly peaceful. As I mentioned, folks were just holding hands, singing, expressing opposition to this abortion ban, passing the First Amendment rights, nowhere near even the city hall, not affecting any property. And yet, despite all of that, they were still arrested. And I think it's just another indicator that Florida is where freedom goes to die. We're seeing a constant onslaught of really awful legislation, stripping away access to books, stripping away bodily autonomy, whether it's with gender-affirming care or abortion access. Today, a 98-page voter suppression bill just dropped out of nowhere. And so there's just this constant pattern of really dangerous and un-American policies being pushed through the legislature. And of course, as Democrats in the minority, our options are so limited. And one of those options is to express yourself, practice that First Amendment right. And, of course, that's what activists did today. That's what leaders did. And of course, the Tallahassee police responded with unnecessary action in arresting individuals who were peacefully protesting.
So go ahead,
Heidi, can I show some video of the protest? I have
Yes,
some.
please do. Thank you.
Certainly.
So I'm gonna leave.
So they're just sitting.
Okay, so as Representative Anna Eskamani told us, among those arrested were the head of the Florida Democratic Party, Nikki and Democratic Senate Minority Leader Lauren Book. All our viewers know I have post-traumatic news syndrome. I've been producing it for so long. I have not had a television since 2006. So I'm sucking back tears right now because what I just saw just happened in my own country. You were there, and it is unbelievable that this is happening in 2023. But as you noted, this is following a pattern. And what I have heard, and I don't know if you can speak on this or not, but my allies in Florida tell me that Ron DeSantis has actually, in the dark of night, passed some law that allows him to actually continue to stay governor while running for president. And that sounds very You know, that sounds very authoritarian to me because that is not how we do things here. So did that truly happen? Do you know? If you don't, that's okay. I'll research it. But
it hasn't happened yet. No.
okay.
So what you're referencing is called resign to run. So right now, Florida, there's a law that if you're going to run for another office, interferes with your current term, you must resign in order to do that. So, of course, Governor DeSantis running for president would require him to resign from his current post because the terms interfere with one another. But there is a rumor that the legislature is going to pass a bill for him to allow him to maintain his role as governor while also run for president.
Okay, well, so what concerns me is I'm also hearing, and again, I'm getting calls after call because the people I know in Florida are Democrats. They did not want any of this. As we know, this is a state that's been heavily gerrymandered, but I'm also hearing that there are some manipulations about being able to open carry, and there are many things that just do not fit in with the democratic values that many of us have enjoyed all our lives.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, multiple bills being pushed through this legislative session, including the governor wanting to have basically his own militia. We're seeing not just the abortion ban, but an expansion of the Don't Say Gay Trans bill in Florida, alongside more tools to ban books by random people who don't like certain topics because they focus on diverse communities. We also see more corporate giveaways in the state legislature. So despite the governor acting, tough on corporations, he still gives them big tax breaks. He's busting unions right now. So, I mean, you name it, Governor DeSantis is probably doing it. And it's all based on his thirst for power.
And I know Hi-Fi, let me ask one more question, then you jump in. Do you feel that part of this is manipulations in advance of what's happening in New York? Because we're hearing things going on in Tennessee and things happening in Mississippi, and this is just feeling so un-American right now. I don't know any other way to describe it.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely just a pattern of chaos. And I do think, part of the Republican tactic is to create as much chaos as possible to really just distract people's attention. The same thing happened following the insurrection on the nation's capital, where Republicans started to distract, deflect, try to dramatize things that Democrats were doing in an effort to, draw some sort of comparison. And so, yes, there is a constant tactic where Republicans are just using deflection and projection to pull attention away from them. And, things like Trump's indictment alongside so many other just atrocious policies and rhetoric coming from the far right.
Thank you. Hi-Fi, you jump in, and then I have one more question because I know you're probably waiting for the release of your colleagues.
So one of the things that really, really troubles me is it seems like corporate media is currently spending all of their time covering every single movement of Donald Trump from Florida to New York. Meanwhile, we have, the head of the Democratic Party in Florida being arrested. We have members of the Democratic Party being expelled in the legislature in Tennessee. Where is the corporate media? Are they giving you the exposure you need?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think you're right. Trump always sucks all the oxygen out of the room. And, meanwhile, we have these real life, local, dangerous policies being pushed through that don't get the attention that they deserve. I mean, we are about to ban abortion at 6 weeks in Florida. And I feel like most of the country has no idea that's happening. In addition to people being arrested, let's be real, the reason why they were arrested is that they were fighting back against an oppressive abortion ban that is going to result in people dying.
Yes.
And individuals not having their bodily autonomy or the ability to make personal medical decisions. And so the national media is always attracted towards the sensational, the drama, and yet we have dangerous policies trying to strip away academic freedom with House Bill 999. We have efforts to erase Black history. We have attacks on the LGBTQ plus community. There's a really bad immigration bill right now in Florida, not getting a lot of attention. And so, yes, I mean, the reality is that national media is often focused on, the issues around Trump. But then at a local level, our state media has just gotten smaller and smaller and smaller, which doesn't help in our efforts to raise awareness and fight back.
So two more things if you have time. One is that I just dropped a major story in Byline Supplement about reversing history. I documented the amount of anti-gay bills occurring nationwide, 426 and counting. And I feel like we are moving in reverse. The things that we have enjoyed are going backwards. And clearly you're reporting from a jail where peaceful leaders in your state were arrested. How do we wake people up to be paying attention to the urgency of what's happening in our state houses?
I mean, I think a part of it is trying to make this as personal as possible for folks and kind of cut through the nuance. You know, a lot of people don't even realize they have a state legislature, they have state representatives and state senators. So there really is just a baseline education that needs to happen. And it's one reason why I spent so much time working with young people, hosting, organizing youth boot camps, really trying to make sure that everyday people know their efficacy and know their power in the process. And once they can understand that local government matters and here's who is supposed to represent you, it gives them the tools, then do something about it. But because there's such a nationalization of our media, you know, most folks just know about the White House. They know who's the president. They might know a few members of Congress, but they probably don't know who their member of Congress is.
Right.
In fact, even for folks who go to the Capitol, they don't know who their representatives are. So I think there's just a lot of education needs to happen to help people understand their efficacy and their worth and that their voice really does matter.
Thank you for that. And how does it feel right now being at the jail? What's it like right now?
Well, we have some amazing activists who are here, you know, so many different organizations. Planned Parenthood's here, Dream Defenders are here, so many Women's Voices of Southwest Florida, just amazing organizations that have been on the ground building power and really advocating everyday people to fight back. And so we're definitely not alone, that's for sure.
Good.
And it's obviously frustrating that we even have to do this right now, but we're going to protect ourselves, make sure those who were arrested get out and be okay. And in the interim, we gotta prepare for another legislative fight. And with that said, I think some of my folks were just released, so I'm gonna have to hop off and
thank you so much for being here. Let us know how we can help. I will make sure that I get this to you and you let us know how we can help, all right? How our viewers can help. Okay.
Absolutely. I appreciate
thank you so much for your time, Anna. Appreciate that.
Keep up the good fight.
Wow. Wow. So everything that we've been reporting on is coming to fruition. So we have been warning about the authoritarian capture in our states. We've been warning about the fascist creep, as Jason Stanley calls it. And it appears to me that Florida, what Ruth Ben-Ghiat calls Florida fascists, let's just call him what he is, Ron DeSantis, is going all in. So I am very grateful that Representative Rep Eskamani from Florida was with us tonight. And we hope that people pay attention to what's happening in Florida, pay attention to the state houses. All of our friends in Florida are Democratic activists working so hard in defense of the LGBTQ plus community. Please be an ally to everybody who is under siege. And you know, I can't believe that we're reporting that the Democratic leaders of Florida were just arrested for protesting peacefully, but that is what we're reporting. High five, final words before we sign off.
It's not just Florida. You know, some people were protesting in Tennessee about gun control laws after the mass shooting there. And 3 of those representatives who were with the protesters are now they're having a vote to expel them from the Tennessee legislature because they said that they were insurrectionists. There was no violence. No one called for anyone to be hung. But these gentlemen are being and ladies are being removed. This is not democracy. This is fascism. They're coming for us. Please pay attention.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the first thing I did when I got the call from Florida and I knew we were going to go live was I grabbed this, which I always have very close to me. It's like my sort of, you know, break glass in case of emergency. And the first thing that I said when I heard what was happening was that, you know, the one thing that I want to make sure that I never do is panic. So that is exactly what I did. I just reminded myself just to keep calm, and we're going to continually take action. We're going to continually expose all of this as it happens, but we are going to keep calm, and we're not going to lose our humanity, despite the fact that we are under siege from a authoritarian right party that is increasingly showing their desperation. And as you all would say, this is the escalation of that desperation. So, all right.
Absolutely.
So Heidi Kuda, high five, signing off from RADPOD. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Strap up, kids. We're coming.